LinkedIn Live. Hope you're having a great day. Today's topic, very, very powerful. I've got 8 strategies on how you can turn connections into conversations, into collaborations. And really, that's the key, is collaborating. Without working with people, without working together with people, LinkedIn is self-limiting. And, that's why you got to start the process from the beginning. And actually, new people coming in with great knowledge is better than old people who have yet to learn core and important proficiencies in LinkedIn application. And where do you start? Well, you start at the beginning with the who, the what, the why, and the how. And by the way, chat's open. Feel free to comment, share who you are, where you're from. I'd love to put you on the screen and love to hear what you have to say. And it makes it far more interactive. So getting back to, connections and the conversations and the collaborations, who is where you begin with. And that means my qualification is if you wouldn't have a conversation right after connecting, don't connect, because you've already put a ceiling on opportunity and potential for that person. And it just creates another layer of activity that's really non-core and non-essential. The what is the purpose for connecting. So now that you found the person you'd like to connect with, it only makes sense if they're aligned with what you want to do or what you're doing or vice versa. And then it's the why, because everybody who offers me a humongous opportunity that I don't know very well or at all, I wonder, why am I such a lucky guy that a stranger would offer me this tremendous opportunity when they don't even know who I am, what I am, where I'm at? So, it makes you suspicious. And because of that, you have to overcome the distrust factor on LinkedIn, because there's so much cynicism, skepticism, and distrust. And a lot of it is well-founded. And you have to fight against the tide to win that game. But the beauty of it is when you distinguish and differentiate yourself from the crowd. There's 875 million people out there. How do you get seen? How do you get heard? Well, that's what you're trying to accomplish, and your why has to support that. And then ultimately the how. How are you going to apply it? And I've built big businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales in my own businesses that I founded and was CEO of. It has to be duplicatable. It has to be scalable. It has to be something that has a system and a process to it as far as the understanding and the foundation. It should be as creative and as innovative as possible. But, that's where, if you start right, you start with direction, you start with understanding, you start with a roadmap, you're starting pretty well next to the person who just showed up from wherever they were disenfranchised from typically. And now they're going to apply what they didn't or did do over there to here, and it doesn't translate well. Moving on, one of the key elements is relevancy. How relevant is what you have to do? And here's what's important, is that you have to appreciate that while you're looking for help, you're looking for support, you're looking for quality individuals, others are looking at it the same way. Are you up to that level of appreciation? Do you bring enough value to get attention and to get engagement? Well, that's really important, because while you're waiting for someone to find you, create a better you, become more relevant, see what people are looking for, and transform yourself if you're comfortable and you feel you can still stay authentic. How do you pave the way for conversations? Well, a lot of it has to do with status. And what do I mean by status? Well, on LinkedIn, people, first of all, they look at you. So your profile is so important. The next element that I look at is your activity. If you're not busy, if you're not there all the time, at least once, I would say 3 times a week, that should be the minimum. If you're not commenting, involved, supporting, you're not you're not in the game. You know, you're around the game and you get the chance to get into the game, but at that point you're not a player. So you look at people who are active. It's so easy if you look at it from the right perspective, and mindset is key. Is if you looked at it like a poker game where everybody's showing their cards and you can build a hand to win that game. All you have to do is look at people's activity, see what they're doing. Is that something you're into, that you want to support, that you want to promote, and maybe you want to mirror in a way? Well, if that's the case, make yourself known, and not by saying, let's have a Zoom, but by supporting that individual's content, doing it on a regular basis. Best way to do it is hit the bell on their profile. It'll notify you when they posted, so you don't have to be there or look for it all the time. Or you can just be a little bit behind and look at their activity and just comment, support it. You'll be seen immediately. Hopefully you'll be seen better than anybody else who's seen by putting a little thought, little time, little effort, which translates to maybe another line or two of type. And it shows maybe you read and watched what they had to say, and you're real instead of great post, keep up the good work. That's one way. The other way is to promote and recognize other people. You know, when I tag people, and I'm getting into tagging like crazy, and I talked about that yesterday. If you want, you can go back to yesterday's post on my profile as far as my LinkedIn Live, and it's great tagging video. Is people appreciate that if done in the right way. If you're doing it to recognize, honor, and promote them, and that's what your headline on your comments. If you look at mine again, look, you'll see mine. You can copy it. It's all want to recognize great connections. It's not like, hey, everybody get back to me, everybody do this. That's not right. And no one's going to support that anyways. But if it's all about them and not about you, and you're helping them, I have 300 people who are taggable. I can only do 120 a day, and that's pushing it. So anyways, that's a way. Have a post all about the person. I just had a conversation, or I just read this article and I want to do this. You could do 10 posts a day. Doesn't matter. The key thing is the person who you're doing it for is going to see it, and that's going to really endear them to you, right? Because it doesn't happen often. Even if you share people's posts, which is so simple and hardly anybody does it, that would get you top of mind awareness. So those are ways to pave your way into quality conversations. And what you do is when you ask for a Zoom, or let's get on a LinkedIn Live, which is just even better because that's even a bigger honor, and they get your network and exposure, and they get to talk about them instead of just to you and learn about you through like a Zoom. So I'm moving right into LinkedIn Lives in a lot of cases. Really aligning with the content, aligning with their audience. And that's another thing. When you look at their posts, you look at who's supporting it. If they're great people in your mind, the people who they're with are great people too. Those are great opportunities to connect and understand what they're doing. You know, the key is to be strategic, to have a few steps ahead of where you are before anybody knows. And it gives you also sometimes to be a little creative. You don't have to be fixed, but the point is you've got a process, you've got a system, you've got a way of moving people towards an end goal that's mutually beneficial. Once you have that, and here's the reason and the beauty of what LinkedIn provides, is that you can offer so much in such a short period of time to so many. by being on someone else's post. If they're getting a lot of activity, people are seeing you as they're seeing everyone else. You want to be seen, right? You want as much quality exposure, and you'll get that through association and third-party validation. So, again, that's a great way to pave a conversation. Meet as a peer, meet as somebody that gets to know somebody already before you want to have a call with them. And along the way, you're qualifying, and you may find what you thought in the beginning didn't work out. And now you saved yourself the trouble. You got to give yourself as much value as you give everybody else in order to feel good about what you're doing. Doing collaboration on a co-promotional opportunity. I have regulars on my LinkedIn Live, and it grows, and we get better understanding, and we're getting to share a lot in a short period of time. That's so key. And that's part of connections into conversations, into collaborations. And then you build on it, and then you leverage it, and you can compound it. And once you build this process, it becomes a pull marketing opportunity where people are starting to fill your schedule up on their own. And they already know you, and they already know what you stand for, and they already know what they can do with you. So, that takes you into the fast lane. Most people are prodding along, but they don't feel so bad because everybody else is prodding along. Once you can break through, and that's where the key is get through those plateaus and get onto rarefied ground. Now you can really be there. And with LinkedIn Live, it makes it so easy. This will post right after. I'm getting views that are from the moon. And now I'm really pumping it up with supercharged tagging. So check out my post. Reach out to me. I've got some great programs on my website. If you want to work really, shoulder to shoulder and really see the difference with some support. And with that said, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again tomorrow.